Welcome to another episode of CSC Chat. I'm your host, Associate Educator. With us today is Communication Art Professor Julian Berrian. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, who are you and what do you do?
Well, my name is Julian Berrian, and I'm an Associate Professor in Chadron State College's Communication Arts program. Now, communication arts is a very broad field, so let me tell you about my area of expertise, because communication arts here at Chadron State College involves not only what I teach, which is media production, but also interpersonal communication, group communication, journalism, and public relations. But since I'm media production, on any given day at SOSA, I'll be teaching a TV production course, I'll be teaching a video production course and/or an audio production course. I do a little bit of graphic animation in my video production courses, but for good measure, I also teach public speaking and fundamentals of oral communication.
Okay. While you're a professor now, did you start that way? What led you to first get into video production?
Oh boy, that's a long story, so I'll give you the short version of it. As an undergrad, I was pre-med, and I enjoyed it, but I did not enjoy it as much as film and filmmaking. So what led me to video production and film production was spending time with two friends, good friends of mine, at the University of Maryland in Baltimore, who were both film majors and filmmakers. And they were always having fun, and I was never having fun. So I figured something about that equation had to change, and that something was me. So I jumped feet first into filmmaking, switched my major just enough so I could take film courses. And as they say, the rest is history. I became a filmmaker and later attended graduate school as a filmmaker and spent a lot of time making movies and making video productions and audio productions. So that's how I sort of switched gears and became a video maker.
Oh, okay. What led you to becoming a professor after a successful career as a filmmaker?
Oh, wow. Well, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is where I was born and raised and which is where I went to graduate school, I did a lot of work in the TV production industry, public TV in particular. I did that. I also worked for nonprofit organizations as a media consultant, and I was working a great deal in the Philadelphia area, and I perhaps had 5 different jobs and would work those 5 different jobs during the course of 1 week. So you can imagine it being fun at the beginning, but soon it became a little too much, and I was on the verge of being burnt out from so many different jobs, doing what I liked, but 5 different jobs can be mind-boggling. So I decided to try my hand at teaching, and I sort of fell into it, for lack of a better term. And I'll just tell you a short story about that. I was working at a community media center as a videographer and editor in Philadelphia. And one of the individuals who was supposed to teach an editing workshop at that community media center was sick one night. And so the director asked me to fill in and teach an editing course for just 1 night. Well, I did. I loved it. And the executive director came back to me and said, hey, what would you say if I asked you to teach the rest of that course at this community media center? And I said, as long as you're paying, I'll be teaching it, because I had such a good time with the students. And I was able to talk at length about something that I really, really loved. And I had no idea that I wanted to teach before that experience at the Community Media Center. And so I then began working as an adjunct professor at Essex County College in New Jersey. And that led me to my first full-time teaching position in Massachusetts. And that was at Worcester State University, which is where I taught for over 15 years before I moved west to Chadron, Nebraska, and began teaching here at Chadron State College in 2022.
So how did you find your way to Chadron?
Oh, well, how did I find my way? I have several relatives who live not in Nebraska. Well, one set lives on the eastern side of Nebraska. Another set of relatives lives in Colorado. So I felt that I needed to move out west where there was more peace, more quiet, more calm, more landscape to enjoy. And I could be around relatives with whom I really, really get along and who share my values. And I said, well, Chadron's a good fit. It's in between Denver and Omaha. And I love the Great Plains. I love South Dakota. I love the buttes and the valleys and the tumbleweed and all that wonderful stuff. And so I figured I'd give Chadron State College a try, and I've been having a wonderful time so far.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for listening. That was episode 6 of CSC Chat, and we hope to see you again.